Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm here finally, y'all, to tell my story. My divorce story, that is. If you guys have been following me for any length of time, you know that 2 years ago, my marriage essentially fell apart. And I've been documenting my sort of journey through separation and moving and selling my home and etc. But once I got down to the stage of going through the divorce, I kind of stayed silent about it because I don't like discussing legal issues while in litigation. So yeah, now that all of that is put to bed and I am officially a divorced woman, I thought I would come and kind of share the details as to what that looked like, because I feel like a lot of people, based on the comments and messages that I received, a lot of people don't realize that divorce is actually a process. Plus, of course, I started this journey with you guys and I want to end it with you. So of course I want to tell you how the story ended. Essentially, I started documenting my journey July 2nd of 2019. That was the day that my then husband got on a plane and left. He abandoned the marriage, the relationship, and left. Now, I will say that prior to that happening, I had found out that he had been having an affair. And when I found out about the affair, I was obviously devastated and angry and, just the full range of emotion that comes with that. Now, I will say since then, over the last, 2 years, I found out that it wasn't actually just an affair. He was actually a serial cheater and had had many affairs. So it wasn't just one woman or person, but many. So I had actually found out about the affair in March of 2019, so much earlier in the year. I was devastated, but after 21 years together, including 6 years of marriage, I did not want to give up on, what we had. We started working on our relationship at that point to rebuild the trust and, respect that had been lost and broken. I made the decision to forgive him. We both made the decision that we did not want to give up on the relationship or the marriage and that we wanted to work things out. So that's what we began doing. Fast forward to the summer, things had been going well. We had been working on the relationship. Things were improving. We were doing things together. We were, taking vacations together. He had even planned a visit with Gabe Babe TV. If you guys remember, they came to visit during the summer of 2019 and they stayed with us. We had a great time, etc. So everything was going smoothly, or at least that's what he was presenting to me. Fast forward to July 2nd, 2019. It was a regular morning. I got up, had started to get some work done. He made me, I think I made a cup of tea and went down into my workspace. He made me lunch and he left the house. And that was the last time I ever saw my then husband again. He actually completely abandoned the relationship. He not only left the city, he left the country, he left the continent, got on a plane and left. No forwarding address, no, new phone number, no nothing. He just left. So as you can imagine, it was like being hit with a truck. Like I was completely, the rug was pulled out from under me because, like I said, I had no inclination. Yes, I had found out about one of the affairs that he had had previously, but, like I said, we were working actively to rebuild the relationship. Plus, we were doing all these things. He was inviting my internet friends and we're having family parties and everything. So there was no indication that anything was going on underneath the surface until, like I said, he simply got on a plane and vanished from my life. Those first couple of days, weeks really, were a complete blur. Like I think kind of walked around in this weird kind of fuzzy state. I don't know how else to explain it, but like I kept having like WTF moments, like, really, is this real life? Like, it just didn't feel real. It was just surreal. So yeah, I definitely was heartbroken and sad and angry and confused and surprised, all of those, like, just befuddled. I think it was a little over 2 weeks when I kind of accepted this fate. Like, okay, this is real life. This is what's happening. I have to put my big girl panties on and get to work. So I, at that point, retained my first lawyer and went and drafted my separation agreement. Now, in Ontario, where I live, you have to be separated for 1 year before you can file for divorce. Otherwise, believe me, I would have filed for divorce immediately, but that's just not how it works where I live. There were things within the separation agreement that I had to get done, prior to filing for divorce. I retained my second lawyer at that point, which was a real estate lawyer, to help me deal with, the actual property, selling of the property and all of that stuff. It wasn't until 1 month later, 1 month of my then husband being gone, like from the country, from the continent, no contact, no forwarding, nothing, that he actually sent me a message on WhatsApp asking if I wanted him to come back. Yeah. The caucasity. So at that point, I just knew he clearly viewed me as just a doormat, somebody he thought that he could just continuously cheat on, disrespect, emotionally abuse, leave, and just come back and walk all over. So, if I wasn't sure before, which to be honest, I already was, I was definitely sure then that there was absolutely no way I would ever speak to him, not even get back with him, but speak with him again for the rest of my life. Like, I don't need that. Now, as I mentioned earlier, in Ontario, you have to be separated for 1 year before you can file for divorce. So July 2nd of 2020 rolls around. I'm very excited to contact my lawyer and finally file for divorce. But there was something else going on July of 2020. If you guys remember, we were 4 months into a worldwide global pandemic and lockdown. All non-essential businesses were shut down, and even essential businesses were operating at a limited capacity, and that included the family courts. Unfortunately, they were only accepting what they deemed essential cases, which included matters that dealt with either custody or domestic abuse. And since I was seeking a simple divorce, they would not accept my application. So I had to suck it up and just wait. There's really nothing that I could do at that time. I continued just to work on me, work on, my personal goals, finding my home, renovating, and working on my YouTube channel. You guys know I hit 100K around that time. So I had plenty to keep me busy, although I was disappointed that I wasn't able to file. Once they finally started accepting and processing simple divorce cases, of course, they had to get through the entire backlog. And finally, I think it was like 10 months later, June of 2021, I was able to file. So what that process looks like is that you have to serve, the other spouse. After he sent that last WhatsApp message, after a month of being gone, asking if I wanted him to come back, I definitely limited all contact with him. I think I only contacted him once, only to do with the sale of the home. So yeah, I literally had no desire or no reason to contact him at all. So I asked the process server to simply serve him at his last known address, which was where I had the separation agreement sent to. But that failed. So that address was no longer associated with him or his family. So I did end up contacting him. Now, I didn't have a forwarding address, obviously, or a forwarding phone number. When he initially left the country, he was still using my business phone, my Uber accounts. He was still using all my business accounts, which shortly thereafter I canceled. So the only information I had for him was an email address. So I emailed him asking him where he wanted the divorce papers sent. And he received it, but did not respond. So at that point, I had to pay for something called skip tracing in order to have the, respondent served. Essentially, it's paying to trace this person down, kind of like, almost like a PI, but it's through the court system. So I had to do that. That cost me about $500. And they were able to get an address for him and finally serve him in person on July 21st. And I was so relieved to finally hear that because, in my mind, it could finally be over. He could get he'd gotten the papers. All he had to do was sign them and the process would be over. When you're served with divorce papers here in Ontario, you have 30 days to respond. He did not. He refused to sign the divorce papers. I had to do a sworn-in affidavit and submit a request to the court to finalize the divorce despite him not responding. That was the end of September, so I did that and again had to play the waiting game. And on December 22nd, the judge actually issued me a divorce order. If you guys remember the end of Vlogcember, I uploaded a video while I was checking my emails and I kind of gasped and I told you guys I would have big news to share. That was actually me reading that email with my divorce order included in the attachment. The reason why I didn't just tell you guys then is because what a divorce order means is that a divorce will become effective 30 days from the date that the divorce order is issued if the other party does not appeal that decision. So I didn't want to announce it, and jinx myself or anything because again, technically the divorce would not become effective for 30 days. And prior to this, he had tried to sabotage me selling the house, while I was trying to contact him to sell the house. He, cut off contact, wouldn't answer my calls, told me not to call him, wouldn't give me an address to send the divorce papers to, wouldn't sign the divorce papers. So really in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna wait until it's actually finalized. And guys, 30 days later, January 22nd of 2022, I officially became divorced. I'm still waiting for my divorce certificate to be mailed out, but as you can see from my story, everything takes time through the court system. It is not like a, in and out kind of one-stop shop situation. So I don't know when that will finally arrive. And that's why I decided to just announce it now because, it is official. I just don't have the actual paperwork. But I'm very excited, you guys. I'm I'm happily divorced. For me, it wasn't a sad occasion. It was a long time coming, a long journey, and something that I was looking forward to of no longer being legally bound to somebody who is, a serial cheater, narcissistic, and, emotionally abusive. So I'm very happy that I'm finally here. And I'm super appreciative of you guys being here for me through this journey. Your girl is officially divorced, yeah, okay? Divorcee Toni, if you will. That kind of sums it up. It's not really juicy, it's not as juicy as maybe some of y'all thought it was going to be, but really COVID delayed the process, but he dragged the process on. And I'm just happy that it's over with. He owes me thousands of dollars. Like I said, he was still using my phone for international calls and Ubers and Uber Eats and, lawyer fee, all that. He owes me thousands of dollars. But I'm going to take the L on that because I literally am no longer associated with him. And I want nothing to do with him ever again. So I'm very happily divorced. And I did it all by myself. And if there's anything that I really want women to take from my story, it's to please, ladies, have your own. That's it. That is the lesson that I hope that anyone watching or who had watched my journey takes from this is to have your own. Because life happens and you may find yourself left high and dry. And I'm not just talking about cheating or abandonment in my case. I'm talking about it could be an accident. It could be a death. It could be an illness. It could be relocation for work. And it could be literally anything. And you all of a sudden find yourself on your own and having to do for yourself. And I just want for you to be able to do that. On that note, you guys, I think I rambled your ears off long enough. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much again for being there for me during my journey. And I can't wait to see what the next chapter holds. Peace out.